So today we're going to be talking about why not to mod your guitar. Stay tuned. Welcome to the Guitar Manifesto channel. Hope everybody's doing well. So today we're going to be talking about why not to modify your guitar.
Yeah, I mean it's quite unbelievable.
So one of the most common things I see in the comment section or questions I get asked is what mod should they do on their guitar, or they've just bought a brand new Squier Bullet Telecaster. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change out the tuners, I'm going to change out the pickups, I'm going to change out the pots. Don't do it. So for me personally, what I tend to do is I'll wait till I get the guitar, I'll give it a good setup, I'll put a fresh set of strings on, I'll make sure I fully stretch the strings. So what I mean by that is keep stretching them until they do not go out of tune anymore. So you stretch them, you tune them, stretch them, you tune them till they are fully set in. Now a lot of people do not do this and they blame it on the tuners are junk, blah blah blah. Personally, I've had over 1,000 budget guitars.
Do you play all? I mean, do you actually play all these, or?
Well, I play them and I cherish them.
I've had a lot of high-end guitars. I've had a lot of vintage 60s, 70s Fenders and Gibsons and what have you. And what I personally find is over the years, the guitars normally are fine. For instance, a Jazzmaster. This is Squier Vintage Modified. Now out the box, I can't fault these. The tuners are great. These have got the vintage style tuners, which again a lot of people straight away swap out. These are some of the best tuners you can get. The strings lock into place. First thing I do is make sure the strings are stretched. Like I said, on these models, Jazzmasters, Jaguars and Mustangs, the bridges are problematic where they float, the strings slip out the saddle. So things like that, yep, you need to modify them. But in terms of pickups, a lot of the time people have got an expensive guitar and a crappy little amp.
If you can see,
Yeah.
the numbers all go to 11.
Now personally, I do it the other way around. I'd rather have a budget guitar and a good quality amp because that says a lot about the pickups themselves. The pickups are usually fine. Like I say, it's down to your signal chain, the amp, things like that. If you want to upgrade the pickups, if you've got a particular sound you want, that's fair enough. You know, a lot of people say they're going to stick a Seymour Duncan SH4 in, or DiMarzio humbucker. They are different to any sort of stock humbucker you'll find. So for things like that, I appreciate, you know, people want to get their own sound. One mod I generally do with budget guitars is I'll replace the capacitor, because they put these tiny little caps in, and to be honest, they're not very good. Pots, again, you get the little mini alpha pots. They're okay, but you know, I wouldn't straight away change them out. If I want to get a particular sound, or if I want a nice swell on the volume and tone control, I will replace them out for CTS. Switches, again, basic switches, cheap switches normally work okay, but if you want a nice quality feel to it, yeah, maybe upgrade your three-way selector switch. Same with the output jacks. I do generally upgrade them, but the stock ones are pretty decent. And with the wiring, you do get a lot of thin wire, which is nice to upgrade to the thicker, higher quality stuff. But things like shielding, that's a nice little mod to do. Shield your cavity, do the underside of the pick guard. That can help out your pickups. Some of the cheaper guitars, like you get these single coil pickups where they're very microphonic, where you can actually hear your voice through the pickup. Yeah, maybe it's worth changing. But things like Strats, yeah, maybe you want to upgrade them to something a bit better. But my point of this video is a good setup of a guitar, stretch your strings out, always stick some nice strings on, because a lot of the times you get these budget guitars, the strings are pretty awful, so get some sort of Super Slinkies or Diodarios. But in terms of before you've even got the guitar, before you've even played it, before you've even plugged it into your amp, give it a chance first, make sure you've got a decent amp. But one of the biggest things for me is playing a budget guitar. I have no problem playing budget guitars as long as you've got a nice quality amp. I'd much rather it be that way than have an expensive guitar and a crap amp. You'll never sort of be happy with it. There is the odd amp out there that sounds pretty decent if you want like a gnarly tone, but yeah. There's a lot of channels on YouTube, the higher channels, where they're pushing people to get boutique stuff, upgrade this, upgrade that, get your boutique pedals. No, don't listen to them. Get the guitar first, try it out, see what you think.
This one is just, it's perfect. 1959, you know, it just, you can, listen.
How much is
Just
this?
listen for a minute. The sustain, listen to it.
I'm not hearing anything.
Another big issue with them is the nuts as well. On the cheaper guitars you get cheap plastic nuts. That is a very easy upgrade. You can get like a Tuss nut for around £10–15. That can make a massive difference in terms of tuning stability. As long as you file out the grooves on the nut, you know, so they're nice and smooth, you've got no friction. That's another thing with tuning stability, is friction points. So every time you're bending a string, strings are catching if you've got like no smooth grooves in the nut and the saddles and things like that. So look at setting your guitar up properly. If you're not sure about setting your guitar up, take it to a professional, explain, you know, the issues you're having with it. Generally they'll do a few little tweaks to them without having to change things like tuners, you know, and other stuff. So you can save yourself a lot of time and money. And just don't believe everything you see or, you know, read on the internet. It's not always true. There's a lot of hipsters out there who like sniffing that cork, and yeah, they just talk a lot of crap. So
Push over the cliff. You know what we do?
Put it up to 11.
11, exactly. One louder.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
yeah, that'd be my honest advice. In terms of budget guitars, you do not need to upgrade them straight off. Personally, how I look at guitars is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But look at your setup, look at the way you've stretched your strings, look at the smoothness of your nut slots, pardon the pun, and little things like that. But yeah, you can always, you know, upgrade little bits. Just before you swap out them pickups, maybe change the pots, change the cap. Little things like that can make a huge difference. They can really bring cheaper pickups to life. And if you want to upgrade your guitar in terms of pickups, you do not have to buy the bigger brand stuff. There is some cheap Chinese ones that I've covered in videos before that actually sound really good. You'd be surprised what £20, £30 for a set of pickups can sound like against £150+ for a pair of, you know, Seymour Duncan or DiMarzio pickups. But don't get me wrong, they are nice quality pickups, but you do not need to spend big money. Me personally, I like my budget stuff. I don't like to spend a lot of money on guitars anymore. I've had the expensive stuff, and to be honest, I'm quite happy playing, you know, things like these behind me. Squire, Faisley, all awesome guitars, all play really nice. Again, once I set them up nice, put a nice set of strings on, they are good to go.
Still got the old tagger on it, so you've never even played it. See?
You just bought it?
Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
I wasn't going to touch it.
No, don't touch it.
I was just pointing at it.
Well, don't point even.
Don't
It
even
can't
point?
be- no, it can't be played. Never. I mean,
Can I look at it?
No, you've seen
Don't
enough
look
of
at
that
it.
one.
So if you're a new guitarist, I know it's quite confusing out there in terms of all the advice that the bigger channels have got. They've got unlimited funds, you know, they can pick out whatever guitar they want to play. They can get a Fender custom shop, they can get the big boutique amps, but they're trying to spend your money for you because they're trying to sell you a product. I'm just giving honest advice for years of experience. Like I say, I've owned thousands of guitars in my time. So I hope that advice helps people out. If you want to ask me any questions, just comment in the comment section below and I'll be sure to reply to every question. So if you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram, The Guitar Manifesto, check the description for all my other links, and I'll see you all very soon. Peace out.